I've just watched the video I did on the UN Security Council and Bible prophecy. I feel that it needs a sequel to flesh things out a bit more, so that is what I've prepared here. Please watch the first video before watching this one. There's a link to it on the screen right now. Just click on it if you haven't already seen it, and then you can return to this video after you've watched it. Otherwise, much of what I say in this video may go over your head. The Prostitute, Babylon. In the first video, I compared reference to the wings of an eagle on the back of a lion as relating to the United States growing out of the United Kingdom. However, there's another term that's used in the Revelation, which can also be taken as referring at this point in history to the United States. That term is Babylon, and it is used as the name for something symbolized by a prostitute. This prostitute, and the name Babylon which goes with her, can be used to refer to the underlying greed behind all the various empires of man. In the second chapter of Daniel, the king of Babylon has a dream about a huge statue of himself, which Daniel interpreted to mean that all succeeding empires would still be essentially the same as his own empire. They are all just further manifestations of the same greed that is at the root of all the systems of man. Well, the same can be said of the lesson illustrated by reference to Babylon, the prostitute. Over the centuries, many artists have misrepresented reference in the Revelation to creatures having several different heads by drawing weird pictures of all the heads being there at the same time. This tragically misses the point. The real lesson is that all of our political activity over the centuries have amounted to little more than taking down one government or head and replacing it with another one that is just as bad or worse. To this day, people continue to look for yet another political solution whenever things go wrong, rather than recognizing that it is our search for answers in the governments of man that is fundamentally flawed. So this prostitute can be seen as relating to the greed that is behind every government throughout history. It's just that at the moment, the world economy is best represented by the American dollar. It's also worth noting that there is a suburb in New York City, not far from the New York Stock Exchange, that is actually called Babylon. Capitalism. As stated in the Revelation, all the merchants and shipping companies of the world have been made rich through the love of money or capital that Babylon the prostitute has represented throughout history. It's just that America is the epitome of the love of capital today. The political ideology of the whole country is described as capitalism, the love of money. This belief that greed will ultimately produce what is best for everyone is, sadly, most strongly supported by the churches of America. That is why they are so fanatical in their loyalty to Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with Trump having faith in God. It's all about their real God, money. Permanent members versus rotating members. I want to relate this concept of America being Babylon to what I said in the earlier video about the United Nations Security Council. Remember, the Council has a total of 15 members, 10 rotating members and 5 permanent members. There was some uncertainty as to whether the Antichrist subdues 3 of the 10 horns, that is, the rotating members, or whether he subdues 3 of the permanent members. I believe that uncertainty is largely cleared up in the 17th chapter of the Revelation. This verse refers to 10 horns hating the prostitute and destroying her. These 10 horns seem to be acting in unity with the beast in an effort to set up the final world government. You may recall that in Daniel chapter 2, he describes the final world government as having 10 toes, as being a mixture of strong governments and weak ones. This too seems to be referring to all 10 rotating members still being there after 3 members of the council have been subdued. All of this would strongly suggest that references to the Antichrist subduing 3 kings is about the destruction of America and the effect that it will have on the other 2 permanent democratic members of the UN Security Council. The other 2 permanent members are the United Kingdom and France. disunity among the bad guys. For the most part, both the prostitute and the beast are the same. They both relate to the inherent evil in all man-made solutions that have been proposed throughout history. But this passage talks about a deep enmity between two of them at some particular point in history, which results in the total destruction of the prostitute, followed by world domination for the 10 horns. 10 horns which exist on the head of the Antichrist. In many ways, this is what has happened throughout history. One head chops off the other head so that it can become the new head. So these 10 countries unite with the Antichrist in destroying the present economic center of the world so that they can, corporately, become the new champions of greed. There is a later destruction of Babylon which God does in the famous Battle of Armageddon. That is because by that time, the new world government will have inherited the banner they took from America. They will have become the new Babylon, the new prostitute. So one Babylon is destroyed by the Antichrist, and the next Babylon is destroyed by God. The leopard. In the previous video, I also went so far as to say that the leopard represents all those other countries of the world, including France, even though there is not yet an official animal symbol for what we have often called the Third World. This leopard, or the 10 rotating representatives on the council, becomes, in the Revelation version of all these animals, the body of a world government that is controlled by the beast. This too is consistent with France, or the rooster wings, disappearing into the body of the leopard, thus leaving only 2 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council who lead the other 10 rotating members. The dragon. I should also say something more about the dragon. A leopard is used in Revelation 13 to describe the body of the beast. It says that the leopard has the mouth of a lion and the feet of a bear, but it is the dragon that gives it its power. There's no mention of either the eagle wings or the rooster wings at this time, and even the lion or mouth reference may just be saying that the final world government still addresses the world in English. What I'm suggesting is that the bear, the dragon, and the leopard corporately make up the final world government, and that the other 3 kings have been subdued by this time, which is why the eagle wings and rooster wings that appear in Daniel's prophecy are not mentioned here. In the previous chapter, the dragon is identified as the devil himself. Note that the dragon, like the beast, also has 7 heads and 10 horns. This is one reason why I've concluded that China will play a significant role in this final world government, perhaps even more significant than Russia. China may use Russia to gain control of the world, but the dragon himself seems more closely identified with China. The Antichrist or beast is seen as the personification of, or the son of, the devil, in much the same way that Jesus was the personification of, or the Son of God. So the dragon may be both a single person, that is the Antichrist, and a world power, that is China as well. This is where we're at in world history at this very moment. That beast or dragon is very close to taking control of the world. All that is necessary for this to happen is the sudden destruction of the United States, which I think is horrifyingly near. The bear and 3 ribs. Then there are the 3 ribs in the mouth of the bear. At the moment, China lacks the firepower to totally destroy America, but in alliance with Russia, such a scenario could be possible. No further mention is made of the 3 ribs in scripture, but they do seem to have come from a larger body of which Russia, the bear, is a part, thus coinciding with all other references to the Antichrist subduing 3 horns in the 15-member UN Security Council. Even with those 3 ribs missing, the body, that is the council, could still continue to function. Now, there is much more that could be said, but as I pointed out in the first video, These are concepts which require a lot of study and reflection, so I don't want to overwhelm you with too much all at once. At the same time, I feel we're so close to these prophecies actually being fulfilled that we should be trying to understand them as quickly as possible so that we will have the resolve that is needed to stay faithful to God when all the other defenses we had previously trusted in come crashing down around us. So please do study this video over and over until you have it clear in your own mind, and then do all you can to pass it on to others by posting links to these 2 videos all over the internet, especially through social media. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so now, and please upvote this video if you found it to be helpful. Thank you.